current students are in here. So if you guys will just go through and introduce yourself and say what part of Texas or Dallas you're from, what year you're from, and what you're studying. Eliana, you can go first.
Hi all, my name is Eliana. I'm a sophomore and I'm from Plano, Texas, and I'm double
The
majoring.
fuck?
I am double majoring in biology and health and society with a minor in psychology on the pre-health track.
Carson?
Cool, I'll go next. I'm Carson Yeager. I'm a senior. I'm from about 10 minutes from campus, University Park. I'm majoring in management information systems as well as finance and math. Senior, graduating here in a few days, just like y'all. Graduation's canceled, so excited to be here.
Hi everyone, my name is Anna Paula and I'm from Arlington, Texas. I am a junior double majoring in finance and world languages and minoring in international studies, and my dog would like to say hello to everyone as well. I'm excited for y'all to be here, and if you guys have any questions, we would love to answer those for you.
Awesome. We'll get started with a few. So first one, if you'll talk a little bit about why you chose SMU.
Should we go in the same order, Jackie?
Yeah, whoever wants to answer.
So for me, I was very much not wanting to stay in Dallas, let alone like Texas in general. And so I actually just went on a tour of campus one day, just kind of on the spur of a moment type of decision. And I really fell in love with how beautiful it was, which sounds silly, but really having a nice campus environment to just go outside with and hang out with friends after a long day is a lot, huge benefit as a college student. And I also would say kind of the balance that we can find at SMU between academics and social life really drew me to the university. And so not wanting to be consumed by being on the pre-med track, I also wanted to be able to explore Dallas and have a solid social life. So that was also something that really drew me to SMU.
Cool, now I'll go. I applied all over the place: Vanderbilt, Duke, Rice, Virginia, big schools, small schools, kind of all over the place. Ultimately ended up at SMU because it was the only school that didn't just allow me to do multiple majors. It encouraged me to explore multiple things. So not just do finance, not just do engineering, but find a way to blend all of those. And so now that I'm a senior about to leave school, I've been really grateful for that, because as I applied for jobs and found internships along the way, that diversity of academic study really helped me out a lot and really made me a better candidate through all those application processes. And so that's something that I was very grateful that SMU let me do. And so that was one of the biggest things for me of why I chose SMU, because they allowed that and encouraged that. And then also the programs to get out of Dallas. After spending my whole life here, I was kind of ready to spend some time away, but I didn't want to go to school somewhere else. So all the study abroad programs, SMU and Taos, all those are incredible opportunities to take advantage of and really drew me to SMU. So those are my two things.
Yeah, and mine are pretty similar to theirs. One really big aspect that I was looking for in a college was I wanted to be close to a city, but not necessarily in the downtown of a city. I wanted to have an actual campus, which is something that I really loved about SMU. It's obviously a beautiful campus, but it's close enough to downtown Dallas where there are those internship opportunities, and there's always going to be a good restaurant or a movie theater or anything close by that you really want. Being in Dallas, we're super close to so many different sports. We have the Dallas Cowboys, the Stars, the Texas Rangers, who are building a new stadium, and it's going to be hopefully done by next year. So there's really options for whatever you're looking for, you probably will find in the Dallas area. And then one other thing that really drew me to SMU was that it's the perfect size of a school. You're not in a giant state school where you're probably going to have 500 students in your intro class. You're really going to get to know your professors. You're going to be able to have one-on-one time with them with office hours. So that personal connection that you can build will really help you in the future as well when you're looking for internships. So that's something that I really liked about the university.
All right. And I'll ask another question, but students, feel free to comment any questions in the chat if you have some. I know there's one in there already. But can you all talk a little bit about what your experience has been like staying close to home? Is it as bad as some may think? And how have you benefited from Dallas? Any specific stories?
Sure. I barely go home. So some of my friends from out of state actually have gone home more than I have. And so that was something fun to realize. And it really is just, there's always something going on our campus. And so even if you are from 5 minutes away, or I'm like 30-minute drive away from campus, you kind of don't want to go home because there's always something going on and there's always something to go do. And that is really kind of what Alex was talking about earlier, residential life, spirit, traditions, all of that comes into play when you are on campus for your first 2 years, living on campus, and there's always just something to go see. And I would say a particular, I guess, thing my friends and I like to do is really just walking distance from campus. So a lot of us didn't bring our cars, even though we were from the area. And so we kind of just walk 10 minutes off our campus into a plaza that just has a lot of different shops, coffee shops, restaurants, and just enjoy a nice night off campus kind of, and just enjoy a nice dinner. And that's just something really relaxing that you can do after, again, a long day of classes, or you want to cap your weekend off with a little fun adventure with your friends. And that's within walking distance, don't really need to go too far. But if you want to enjoy the city, there's obviously so much to do in downtown, like plays, sports, everything like that. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so I guess on top of all that, trying to think, I'm a big numbers guy. So as I've kind of looked back on my 4 years, I think of all the money I saved not flying to campus to move in. It's like all my friends from California and the Northeast had to spend all this money for move in, for winter break, spring break, flying back and forth. So all that money that I've saved doing that, I've been able to apply for like other fun stuff. So like fall break, I was able to fly to Yosemite and go hiking in the national parks with some friends and really make the most of my time, fly to SMU and Taos, do really cool things like that, go to Memphis or the Naval Academy for football games this year, which was really awesome. So that was a big thing. Staying at home, it really provided a lot of benefits outside of just being close to home. It opened up a lot of opportunities to explore outside of Dallas. So that was really cool. My freshman year, my mom cooked dinner for like 20 of my friends that I made, which was really cool. Just kind of like opened up. It's really nice. As much as you love going to college, by about November, you're about ready to see some familiar faces. So it was fun to bring friends home and kind of mix that college life with home life. And so just really laying out a contract with your parents like, hey, I'm in college right now. So unless I ask to come home for dinner, like, please don't ask me. And so figuring out that balance really helped out. So I love Dallas. It's an awesome place. Go sailing on White Rock Lake every once in a while with friends. So there's some fun ways to get creative and do stuff in Dallas that you don't normally do in high school. And I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and for me, at first, I was like, there's absolutely no way that I'm going to be going home, especially like my first semester at college. I was like, I'm finally going to get away. But I feel like as time has gone on, I've realized like the real benefit of living close to home. Like you're 30 or however many minutes away. If you want to leave campus, you can. And that's a privilege that a lot of the students at SMU don't really have. Like you have your own little getaway so close to actual campus where you can go with your family, have some nice home cooked meals, maybe your laundry gets done for you as well while you're home. So when you think about it, like there are some really good benefits that come with staying close to home. I remember my freshman year, we had a problem with a power outage, and a bunch of like my friends just came and stayed with me at home. So I was like the savior of all my friend group. We have like, I called my mom like 20 minutes before we were on our way, and I was like, hey, just letting you know, like there's 10 people with me in the car and we're all gonna spend the night at the house. And she was like, okay, that's cool. So we all just had like a huge sleepover. So for those of you that are thinking like there's no way, like home is just way too close, just like an important thing to do is, like Carson said, just have that conversation with your parents, like, hey, like I'm going to college, I'm gonna want to have my own space, and SMU and Dallas like can be that space for you, but at the same time you will have that opportunity to go home whenever you want.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. And we have a question in the chat from Bree. What advice do you guys have for prospective SMU students who are looking at starting their first year in college?
Great question. I would say my number one recommendation to like people starting off university is to just take a random class. I went to a very small high school with 30 people in my graduating class, didn't have a ton of options when it came to my academic choices, didn't really have electives or anything like that. So when I started off at SMU, even though I had a general idea of what I wanted to study, I decided to just take intro to psychology my first semester and ended up adding a psych minor from that experience. And I have plenty of friends who, same thing, they like came in, some of them like came in with a track, took a random class, and then completely switched tracks. So you really never know what you're gonna find. So taking that academic kind of journey and taking some risks with it, and SMU encourages that, and that's definitely probably my number one recommendation and has changed my academic career and life at SMU for the better by far. So yeah.
Something that really served me well throughout college, my parents kind of told me this at the very beginning, was treat college like a job. So like a 9-to-5 job. So the difference between college and high school is you're not going to have class straight through the entire day. So block out 9 a.m., 8 a.m., whenever you start until 5 p.m. and say that's school time. And then after that is just hang out with friends, do fun stuff, get involved, go to club meetings. So find that balance. And that has really served me well, because if you have like a 2-hour break in between a 1 o'clock and a 3 o'clock class, you can get a lot of homework done then. So that way at 11 o'clock, when your friends want to go to In-N-Out or go to Whataburger or whatever, you can do that and not have to say, no, I have to study, I have to do this, because you already got it done during the day. So find that balance between school and fun, and 100% school, 0% fun is not going to work. 100% fun, 0% school is also not going to work. So figure out what that is for you. Figure that out before you start, not 5 days in, because if you figure that out 5 days in, it's way too late. So start thinking about that now. That's my advice.
Yeah, and I think that my advice would be to remember that everyone has gone through what you're going to be going through, and then there's going to be a bunch of students in your own class that are going to be going through maybe like the same nervousness or a little bit of anxiety that you guys might be going through. I know especially during these times you might feel a little bit even less prepared than you might have normally going into freshman year of college, but don't be afraid to knock on your neighbor's door in your residential commons and just introduce yourself. If you see someone sitting by themselves in the dining hall the first few weeks of school, don't be afraid to just walk up and ask them for their name or what they're majoring in, because at the end of the day, everybody is going through that same situation that you are. And another thing I would definitely say is to take advantage of all the resources that SMU provides you. A really big one is the ALEC, which is like our student tutoring center. My freshman year, I went there a lot just because I didn't really know what certain professors were expecting of me, or just kind of the way in which they wanted, like a paper done, for example, was different than the way I had learned in high school. And they have people there, and like not only students, but they also have professors there that are dedicating times in their day to be able to help students like make the best grades possible. So definitely taking advantage of those resources that are given to you can just make the process so much easier than it really needs to be.
Thank you, guys. Another question we have in the chat is about your internship experiences. So can you guys talk about internships or research that you've done?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, that psych kind of newfound interest I found my freshman year kind of led me to go into that more of a research path. So even though I am majoring in bio, and a lot of my pre-med friends are like, why aren't you doing a bio or a chem lab? Like that will get you more experience. And I was like, no thanks. Like my interest is more in psychology. And so I kind of just sent cold emails out to a lot of different labs that interested me, ended up getting a response back from the Anxiety and Depression Research Center on SMU's campus. And I've been working with them for a year now under a PhD student. So we research pregnancy and anxiety and depression that has to do with that. And it has really kind of opened a lot of doors for me, even from now. Like she's already thinking in the future about taking me to conferences and having our research be published, and me even doing my own project next year once I get enough of the skills that are required to do that. And so that kind of just came from other faculty and other student mentors telling me what to do. And they were like, just send emails out. You'll never know what's going to happen. And that opportunity presented itself, took it, and then went, yeah, full in on it. and got a lot of support from everyone in that lab and center. And yeah, it's been a great experience ever since.
Cool. I'll talk more to the engineering and business people kind of in this group. There's a growing pressure to, like, you got to get an internship freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, or you won't have a job. And that pressure is it's ridiculous. I mean, those internships are there, and if you like put your time into it, like, you'll find them. But you will also waste a lot of incredible free time in college experience that you have. So like for me specifically, my freshman summer, I studied abroad for 6 weeks in Germany and then stayed in Europe for the rest of the summer. So I was over there for 3 months. My sophomore year, I didn't have an official internship. I just shadowed somebody in a investment, in the investment field for like 2 weeks. I shadowed them and did just a few things here and there. And then my junior year came around, and my resume was so diverse of involvement on campus, those short little internships I'd done the summer before. And so I applied to an internship. I went the consulting route. So I applied to all the BCG, Bain, Deloitte, and ultimately ended up getting an internship with Deloitte and a couple other firms, but I chose Deloitte for their technology internship. So I did the whole summer after my junior year, traveling back and forth from Nashville and Dallas doing consulting, which rolled into a full-time job. And so even though I didn't have a JP Morgan Chase internship the summer after my freshman year, I still have a job. I'm still happy. I'm still here. And so take that to heart of you don't have to do it your freshman year right out of the bat. But those opportunities are there, and the different career centers in the different schools are super helpful. And so I took advantage of those, got the great internship junior year, rolled into a full-time job. And so that's kind of my perspective on it all.
Yeah, and so mine is pretty similar to Carson's. The summer after my freshman year, I decided to not do an internship and kind of take advantage of what I thought was going to be my last summer off for the rest of my life, basically. It sounds kind of sad when you think about it, but it doesn't have to be that way. So I traveled that summer as well. And then last year after my sophomore year, I was considering doing an internship, but decided I didn't feel like it was the right decision for me. So I ended up doing some volunteer work in Australia with a marine biologist, which has absolutely nothing to do with my finance or world language degree, but it's something that I was passionate about and I felt like would give me kind of more of a life experience of something that I could just grow as a person doing. And I felt like that was equally as valuable for me as doing an internship in an office. And for this summer, I actually have a internship lined up with Goldman Sachs. Because of the pandemic, the way that they're planning it has adjusted a little bit, but I'm sure most firms that haven't canceled their internships are doing something similar. So instead of doing a full 10-week summer internship, I am only doing a 5-week internship with them, but I'm hoping that, like Carson, I will be able to get a full-time offer from them afterwards as well.
Awesome. And Carson kind of mentioned this a little bit, our career centers across campus. So we have the Heggie Career Center that works with students across all majors at SMU. So they're a huge resource for you guys to take advantage of on campus. They'll help you with your resume, with mock interviews. They'll host different internship fairs, career fairs for when you're getting ready to graduate. And then the engineering school and the business school also have their own career centers that you can go to if you're studying in either of those programs, so that you have that additional kind of support and guidance as you try to prepare for life after SMU. And then a lot of the different departments also have those go-to people that kind of collect different summer program opportunities, research opportunities. Professors will have connections as well if they know of an internship or different opportunities that are going on over the summer or the school year. So definitely use all the different connections, all the different people at SMU to kind of help you find those things that are going to help prepare you for life after SMU.
Yeah, and Jackie, if you don't mind, I'm going to talk a little bit about that, just expand on it. Whenever I was looking at what internship I wanted to do this summer with my finance degree, I knew I wanted to do something within that field, but I didn't know exactly what it was, since the business world just has so many different options and so many different directions that you can go in. And I went into our career center, and they're amazing at helping you just try to figure out which route you want to go towards. What I ended up doing with them was kind of filling out a questionnaire that they have laid out for students who just don't really know which path they want to go down. And with those questions, the way you answer them, they kind of give you a certain route that they believe would be best. Like if it's commercial banking with risk management, if it's consulting, they kind of tell you that based off of what you actually answered, which path they think would be the best for you and which one they think you would thrive in most. So that's just an example of those resources within the Career Center that are available to all of you guys with internships.
Thank you. And so transfer students and student upperclassmen, so anybody over the age of 20 isn't required to live on campus. Did any of you get your own apartment after your sophomore year? So if you can talk a little bit about the differences between living on campus and living off campus and kind of pros and cons with that.
Carson, I think you and I are the only ones, right?
Yeah. I'm working on that right now, but
yeah, so I lived on campus my first 2 years, and so this past year I ended up getting an apartment with two of my really good friends. Something I will say is that it is a very big difference being on and off campus, just in the sense that when you're on campus, you can just text one of your friends and be like, hey, do you want to go to the dining hall really quick? And you just meet up with them. So everyone is just a few steps away from you, and it's a lot easier to keep in touch with your friends and all of that. If you're a transfer student coming in, that's something I would really take into consideration. I think it would be a lot easier of a transition for you if you lived on campus at least your first year, to be closer to all the other students, kind of figure out exactly just who your group is, where you want to live. It could take a while to adjust to the area and the atmosphere, I would say, for somebody coming in a little bit later than what other freshman students are already coming in. But I would say that the apartment life is also a great option. I love cooking, so I enjoy getting to cook my own food. But every once in a while I do text some of my friends that are on campus to swipe me into the dining halls. So either option is great.
Yeah, and I've lived on campus all 4 years. I was an RA my sophomore year and then just stayed on campus my junior, senior year. Highly recommend staying on campus. Definitely the best option, second to none. All my friends who live in apartments, it's nice to have your own kitchen, but definitely miss the community aspect. Second option, I say, would find a place where you can walk to campus. Parking and driving just really beats you up. And then if you are going to drive somewhere to campus, just find somewhere in a nice area. But yeah, definitely being on campus. That's my recommendation if you can. There's upperclassmen housing also. So there are some options on campus that have kitchens. They're more apartment style. And so once you are an upperclassman, if that's something that intrigues you, definitely look into it.
Mm-hmm. And some more information on living off campus. We're in a very residential area. So if you do choose to get your own apartment, there's a lot of different options. Some right across the street, walking distance from campus, where you still have access to the dining hall or the rec center, whatever you need on campus, but you still have your own kind of space and that little bit more of independence as it feels. And then we also have one of the more popular apartment complexes is a large apartment complex called The Village. And there's a lot of different options in terms of cost and kind of setup layout. So a lot of students might move out to that complex, but it's on the other side of the highway. So we have a shuttle, the SMU Express, Mustang Express. And so it's a free shuttle that goes from campus. It goes along Greenville Avenue. There's grocery stores, restaurants, stops at Mockingbird Station. There's a movie theater there. That's also walking distance, but you can also take the shuttle. There's comedy club, shopping, eating, all different options. But the final stop is at the Village apartment complex. So you can take that back and forth if you're not wanting to drive, or you can also drive to campus if you're living a little bit further out. But lots of different options. And then I have another question. Can you talk a little bit about the school spirit at SMU? Anybody have any cool, fun stories?
I'll go. I am a big sports fan, and I went to a high school, again, really small, didn't have a ton of sports teams. So when I came to SMU, that was huge for me. And I ended up convincing a whole group of my friends to come to almost every volleyball game our fall semester freshman year. So that was really fun to go to. And if y'all keep up with college football, this past fall semester, our team did really well. So that was really exciting. Compared to my freshman year, the stadium was so full. And so that was really fun to go with friends. The student experience at the football games this year was 10 times better than the year before. So it was really awesome to see everyone at the stands, kind of eating good food, going to the game, staying for the game, which was a really awesome experience. So yeah, the school spirit at SMU is definitely what you make of it, but hopefully we'll keep up that winning streak for football, and when y'all come in the fall, we'll have a good season. So yeah.
And I'm going to wrap up some of the questions into one as we kind of get close to the end of our student panel. But can you guys talk about maybe what you see as a typical SMU student, and for students kind of wanting to figure out whether they'll fit in on campus or how to get adjusted coming into campus? What are some of the best ways to kind of do that?
I can tackle that one. It's kind of a tough one there. If you try and take yourself and try to fit it to what you think the SMU mold is, you're not going to do well. I mean, anybody who tries to change the way that they are to fit some mold of a university like that just doesn't work well. And those are the people that you see. The SMU mold, it's hard to, you can't really put it into one sentence, but whatever you are and what you want to do, whatever you want to get involved in, if you pour yourself into that, if that's academics, there's incredible opportunities for academic research and stuff. If that's religious life, there's incredible opportunities for that. If you just really love programming, there are so many organizations that love to program big events and like fun stuff like that. And so you'll find your community within that little aspect of it. And then at the end of the day, everybody's just wearing the same red and blue colors, and everybody can kind of really be themselves. And that's what when you take that perspective of it, the SMU culture is like incredible. It's just a group of people that are all individual, but at the same school. So that's kind of vague, kind of broad, but that's my perspective 4 years into it.
Yeah, and something that I would definitely add is that just because, like, for example, you like film and you love sports, like, doesn't mean you only have to have like film friends or just have friends that you go to sporting events with. Like, it's okay to be a part of a bunch of different groups of friends who have a bunch of different types of things that they enjoy doing. I'm originally from Mexico, and I have a huge group of Latino friends that I love hanging out with, but I also have a group of friends that I like going to the football games with, and just a giant mix of everything that you can even imagine. There is not a one specific type of person when you come to SMU. There's going to be different people who love different things, and most of the time you'll find people that love multiple different things as well. I'm probably not explaining myself in the absolute best way right now, but the best way that I can think of it is you're not, as a person, like, you don't only like one thing, and you're not only going to identify yourself as one type of person. Like, you're going to have a bunch of different interests, and everybody else is the exact same way. So I really don't think that you should be afraid to be yourself or try to fit a certain type of mold, because at the end of the day, like, you're going to be drawn to people that have similar interests as you, and that's not something that you shouldn't be trying to hide a certain part of your personality or anything like that when you're on campus, because we're all super accepting, and it is a competitive environment, but in the perfect way, because we're not trying to beat each other. We're just trying to push ourselves to be the best that we can be.
Thank you, guys. And one thing to kind of wrap that up, on campus, one big thing that kind of helped me in my transition was just getting involved, as you've heard the students talk about as well. And there's over 200 different clubs on campus. They vary from cultural, religious, community service-based, school spirit, career-based. So there's a lot of those different areas that you have those interests in, and you're able to join and find people that are interested in the same things that you are. And that really kind of helps you build those connections on campus and find your little communities here and there. And we have one big event called Night at the Club right before classes start, where all the different student organizations will set up sort of like a big college fair for you to come get information about what they do, what events they host, and seeing if you want to get involved with that. And we have one in the spring as well, hosted at the flagpole. So all the different organizations will set up and give out information, and that kind of helps you see what all there is here and what you want to get involved with to kind of start into your SMU communities. But all right, with that, we'll kick it back to our Dean of Admission, Dean Hicks. Oh.
Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate it. And thanks, SMU students. It is so good to see you. I've missed you all. So for my transfer and admitted students out there, I hope that what we've brought you to you today has given you an even greater understanding of SMU and who we are. I want you to know, and I sincerely mean this, bringing you together wasn't about saying, don't go out of state, don't go far away from home. We just feel that there is such an asset in Dallas to who we are as a university and what we can provide to our students. So, the optimistic outlook of Dallas is at the heart of SMU, and our enterprising spirit has helped shape Dallas into a global gateway for people that are called world changers. Our partnership with Dallas, the internships, there are over 58,000 SMU alumni living in Dallas and Fort Worth. That is rich to know that so many people that you would come in contact with through your SMU education and beyond, you would have a family of over 58,000 folks in DFW for internships, for advice, for collegiality. I think that says a lot about who we are, and then underpinning that we have. The other flip side of it is 60% of our students come from out of state. So if in choosing SMU, it doesn't mean that you would just be saturated with Texas or Dallas, Fort Worth, or Dallas to the extent that you would be overwhelmed by it. But having these folks come in from around the world also lends to SMU being very nimble and inclusive too. Carson mentioned something that I think is extremely valuable, and that is a flexibility when it comes to majors and minors, and that you can pull multiple interests together to come up with the curriculum that you want. You just don't have to choose one thing. You just don't have to choose two things. We have just brought in for the fall that you would be joining us, we are bringing in a new curriculum that allows you to be more flexible in what you choose, but to also graduate in 4 years. And that's pretty important as well. Graduating, 72% of our students graduate without debt. That's a huge part of what we do as well. So there's so many wonderful things about the university and about who we are, I think, that underscores a great education. So for Eliana and Ana Paula and Carson, I'm gonna put you on the spot, okay? You're like, oh, Elena, I'm used to that. So you're in the same spot, except, many of your seniors in college and that type of thing, many of you are, rising up to that. And tell me this, in what you've gone through in the last, say, 5 to 6 weeks, who you know yourself to be in regard to you and your SMU education, how do you feel prepared? How do you feel prepared for the world that's in front of you? How would you describe that? Carson, I can see you have an answer.
Hey, I'm always thinking. Thanks for, let's see. I am prepared in that I know how to work with a diverse amount of people. I came from a high school that was pretty kind of a single image. And so coming to SMU, I was exposed to people from all across the United States and people who have all kinds of different experiences and passions and work in different ways. And so now that I'm going through all this experience of like, I don't really know what's going up next. It's like, I don't really know where I'm going to end up, but wherever it is, I know that I know how to work with people and work on projects with people. And so if that's the job that I have planned right now, or if that's another job, because this one falls through or something else comes up, like I'm ready for it. So that's my answer to that.
Great. Is anybody else, whether you be a senior or not, like, do you have any, how do you feel about being prepared?
Yeah, I even just after 2 years of being on SMU's campus, I would say being involved in the community has taught me how to find the people that will push you, as Anna Paula mentioned, push you to be your best self. And that's huge when you're looking past graduation, the people that you're going to still be in contact with after SMU. SMU provides an incredible community of people, not only within your majors and minors, like you'll meet people from every like walk of life doing all different types of things, but to create for yourself a community where people are intentionally trying to lift you up and encourage you to be your best self. And especially now when we're all online, having that intentional time with those same people and having them say, it's fine, you'll get through it, we're almost done. Having those people has been such a huge benefit of going to SMU. So I would definitely say the people I've met within the last 2 years have completely changed my life. So.
Awesome. Ana Paula?
There we go. Yeah, mine is pretty similar. So I would say definitely that the people that I meet are, when you think about it, the people that you meet in college are going to be most likely your lifelong best friends, and people that not only will be your friends, but that can also be resources for you in the future. And I think that's something really important that you have to consider when you're picking out a college, the people that you want to be surrounded with, the people that you want to keep pushing you and pushing you towards that right direction that you want to move for. College, yes, it's a time to have fun and make a bunch of friends, but it's also a time to really take advantage of all of the resources and the knowledge that you're going to gain and be able to apply it in a way that is going to be most beneficial for you in the future. So I definitely think that SMU is just a great place for you to meet those people that are really going to push you to be the best person that you can possibly be in the field that you want to be in as well.
Great job. I have one more question for you. And this is something that I have students, admitted students, you know, sometimes I'm working with students that are younger that are just prospective students, but this is something that I hear all the time. And so I want you all to address it to this group. So you all walk into the room or you walk into the Zoom and you've got all these incredible majors and you've done all of these wonderful things. And it sounds incredible. It's also a lot. Did you know your senior year in high school that you would have done as much as you've done at SMU? Did you know that, like, senior year in high school? What was that process like?
I'll start off with this one. I had absolutely no idea that it was gonna be like this for me. In high school, I was super involved in like sports and just in campus, like I was in choir and I did stuff like that. So I obviously knew that I wanted to be involved in SMU somehow just because of my previous experience. But I didn't realize that being involved on campus as much would give me as many opportunities as it has. My internship that I have this summer, I actually got through one of my sorority sisters was helping me with the whole recruiting process. So if you would have told me that I was gonna do volunteer work in Australia and then have a finance internship the next summer, I probably would have told you you're crazy, because who does that, right? No one. But just having those people behind you and all of the resources that we have at SMU just allow you to kind of take your own path and be able to make the choices that you want to make, but kind of like amplify it times 10 to make it be like the most incredible thing that you think, oh, there's no way that I'm going to get that. Yes, like you will get it because of everyone behind you that is helping you, push you, and be able to achieve those goals that you thought one day like you wouldn't be able to achieve.
Yeah, if someone told me, Carson, you'd graduate with 3 majors from 3 different schools, I would have like said that's pretty crazy. But I came in with a lot of AP credits, and I went into my first meeting with my advisor, and she said, "Here's a 4-year plan of every class you're going to take over the next 4 years to cover your 3 majors. And if you stick to this right now, you can get it done. And in 4 years, you'll graduate. You'll cross 3 different stages at 3 different times and get 3 different degrees." It's like, that's really cool that like someone at SMU cared to see me do something better than I would have ever thought imaginable. And so really grateful for that, especially as I prepare to virtually walk across those three stages for the 3 different graduations. So really grateful for the people that pushed me to be better than I even thought I could be. So that's my answer to that.
Yeah, I would definitely, something kind of for me was in high school, I enjoyed the academics, the academic extracurriculars. And so when I came to SMU, I was like, oh, that's probably what I would stay with. But I really was pushed to branch out. And this year, like, have the privilege to serve on an organization that basically like manages all the traditions on our campus. And so like we have that big birthday party for Pruna that goes on, and our big holiday festival called Celebration of Light. Some of the things that really tie in the whole SMU community, from people living on campus to the alumni network, to be able to be a part of that has been such a huge learning experience for me that I never would have imagined. I definitely saw, if you would have asked me in high school, my college career being very academic and just very focused on being pre-med and just volunteering at hospitals, and that's kind of it. But when I came to SMU, I was really encouraged to connect more to the community itself and establish my connection to the community and give back to the community. And so planning these events, basically planning events for like 1,000 to 2,000 people, has been such an incredible opportunity and has made me grow so much with the people in the organization, and has helped me grow my connection to SMU in ways that I could never have imagined.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. So for my admitted students, my team gave me 10 minutes to be able to talk to you and kind of give you my closing thoughts. And with my 3 friends here that are current SMU students, I thought that's the best way to illustrate SMU, for you to talk to Eliana and Ana Paula and Carson about what you have is 3 very authentic people that are talking to you about their authentic time at SMU. You know, one of the things that I think all of us have learned and will become experts at, maybe we are already, especially in the last 5 weeks, is about being flexible and also about support and how we need it. And what I can guarantee you is that you will have flexibility at SMU, whether it be about your majors, getting in touch with advisors, studying abroad. We have so much to offer. And when it comes to that support, that will be there as well. You know, professors will know you. They will know when you ask them for a recommendation for an internship. It just won't be, oh, you know, Carson's in my class and he has a 4.0 and he's very involved. It will be, Carson's in my class and he helped me with a problem that I was trying to solve, and he spent time with me afterwards and we've traveled together, and, you know, those types of things. That's what makes the difference, those connections. We can guarantee that for you at SMU, very much so. It is truly a guarantee. You, my friends, have a wonderful opportunity that you have lived in a time where something has come to pass that is not normal in any form or fashion, and you've taken the bull by the horns. You have are graduating and leaving your community college or your 4-year college to transfer, knowing that you have put in a lot of extra mileage and a lot of extra passion. We commend you for that. Our hearts are with you. And for those of you all that have committed to SMU and know that you'll be on the hilltop in the fall, we can't wait to have you. And for those who are still making that decision, we wish you the best of luck. We know that you have a world-class university in your backyard. So I wish you the best, and I will turn it over to Jackie and some of my admission folks for what we do next.